Welcome back, everyone, to another great episode of Life Uncensored, navigating adulthood one episode at a time. I'm so glad to have you here. We have a great show ahead for you today, so make sure you get your tea, you get your wine, you get your jug of water, whatever that thing is. Pull up a chair and get ready, sit back, relax, and tune in. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your folks. This is an episode you don't want to miss. This episode is going to be talking about using your gifts and walking in your calling. So, today, let's see who's riding shotgun as we navigate adulthood. We have Miss Kim B. Miller, an award winning spoken word poet, host, speaker, author, and facilitator. Kim delivered her first TED Talk in May of 2025. Woo! And it was titled 17 Syllables to Stop the Blame Game. Kim is a Prince William County, Manassas, and Manassas Park, Virginia poet laureate emerita. She is the first and only Black poet laureate for that region. Everyone, all of my Life Uncensored audience, give a warm welcome to Miss Kim B. Miller.
Thank you.
Hi, Kim. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm so glad to have you. I'm excited about the conversation.
Thank you for having me.
I want you to really bask in the glory of doing your TED Talk. How was that for you? Was it awesome?
It really is awesome. It actually was, they call it TEDx Talk. It is a derivative of TED. But it is it's all the things you dream of. For me, it was anyway.
Yeah.
To get on that stage, to be chosen, there was, I think, over 250 applicants, 11 were chosen. So to be included and to memorize it and get on stage, the phenomenal ladies, it was really great.
That is so awesome. I want you all to know that I met Miss Kim at an event here in Manassas Park, Virginia, at our library in Manassas Park, or one and only one in Manassas Park proper. And there was just a light around her. I just had to talk to her, and I walked up to her. I said, "Hey, so tell me about you." And she talked to me a little bit, and I was like, "I got to get you on my show. We have to talk." I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Just again, the energy, just in that quick conversation, we talked maybe less than 5 minutes, but you just had this light about you and this aura that I said I need to have some more conversation with you and share you with my audience, with the world,
Thank
and just like really get into things. So when planning this episode, I asked Miss Kim, I said, what is it that because you've got several things under your belt that we could talk about. And I said, what would you like to talk about? She said, let me sit on that for a little bit. And she came back. She said, I know what I want to talk about. And there you have it. Our topic for today's discussion is using your gifts, walking in your calling. And I think she is the person to speak on that topic. So we're just going to dive right on in. Okay. First and foremost, to start, can you just tell our audience here what your gifts or calling are and how you describe them?
I have I'm not going to call it a slogan, but for lack of a better term, because sometimes poets get too poetic and you don't know what we're talking about. But we'll call it a slogan for lack of a better term. And my slogan is, I touch people with words.
Mm.
And that's my calling. My calling is to get people to see a truth, a lie, a possibility, a fear, a genuineness, a fakeness, something they won't accept, something they should accept. Things that are mislabeled, things are labeled perfectly, things you're overlooking. So my calling is to get people to see the possibilities or the truths or whatever it is that the words are supposed to do.
Wowzer. How did you figure that out? How did you know that that was your calling?
I didn't at first. I did not. So I tell people, especially when I'm teaching classes, don't pick stuff so finite
Mm.
when you're starting your business or starting your profession,
Mm.
because you don't know what you're good at yet. You don't know what your calling is yet. So give yourself some time to breathe, exhale, find out which avenues you loved, but maybe weren't good at. You need to practice a little bit more, or some avenues you thought you were great in, but you weren't well received. So this is a time for you really to stretch yourself. Now, for me, I started off, I loved math. I was horrible in spelling, didn't really like English. So if you'd have told young Kim that you'd be writing and talking all the time, I'd have been like, oh, you got the wrong one. Absolutely not. Not me. But I really feel that as a Christian, my calling came from Jesus, and I really felt led to go there. And I feel so comfortable doing it. Now, before I finish that point, that does not mean I never feel uncomfortable. I'm just saying I'm very comfortable doing it.
Hmm. Hmm. I love that. And that's something that I think is a misconception, would you say, that you're going to be comfortable because,
Right,
well, God told me to do it. So
right,
obviously it's going to be, it's going to be
right.
comfortable.
Then it's going to be easy breezy.
Mm-mm.
No,
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 no. If that was the thing, then everybody'd be doing what they were supposed to be doing, right? Everybody would be walking in their calling if it was that easy, right?
exactly, exactly right.
Can you share with us, like, the story behind how you first recognized it? Like, when the light bulb went off, when the lightning struck you, and you're like, oh, I get it now.
Yes, I was still living in New York at a time. I'm a native New Yorker, and I went to Hugh Man, and that's how it was spelled, bookstore in Harlem. And it was a open mic. I believe it was a critiquing open mic. What I mean by that, it was an open mic where the host is going to critique you. Some open mics you just perform and sit down. So I knew this was going to be critiquing one. That's why I went. I went, and there was like a little store
Kim, I'm
behind.
sorry. I want to stop you right there. That right there speaks volumes. You went because you knew it was going to be a critiquing open mic. You went because you knew someone was going to give you feedback, whether it was good or bad, and you said, "Yeah," and I'm going next.
Yes.
Like I want to I want the audience to have heard that
Oh,
you knew what you were walking into. It's not like you showed up and then you found out. You showed up on purpose, knowing that that was going to be. And I want to really state out loud, right, from my mouth to your ears, that 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 type of attitude, that type of mindset could really change the world. If everyone understood the assignment in that way, that number one, it's not always going to be easy, and number two, you're going to hear some feedback, wanted or not. You're going to hear some feedback. What you going to do with it? And the fact that you forged into it, I just wanted to pause there because I really wanted that to resonate with the audience, that you did that knowingly. I'm
absolutely.
sorry to have interrupted you.
Oh, no, no. I'm so glad you reminded me of another point. One of the things for the TEDx talk, they asked, are you coachable?
There it is.
So
There it is.
we can be great, but you can be greater with knowledge from people who maybe have done it, maybe some people who haven't done it, discernment about who's giving you advice, etc.
Sure.
But getting critiques is not a bad thing
Hmm.
as long as you consider the source.
I love that. Yes. Yes. That's awesome.
Yes. So I
So
went,
you went there.
I went, and there was like a little, I don't want to call it store, but there was places you could buy stuff behind me. And there was a young lady. She talked to me throughout the whole poem. I say a line, "Go girl," or something like that. I thought it was fantastic. I'm one of those poets who actually love you talking to me, so she wasn't throwing me off. So a couple of people in the audience were like, "Y'all leave her alone. She's making me feel good."
Right, right. She was your hype man.
Exactly. I'm like, yeah, yeah. So she was really great. When I stopped, she stopped. It was hysterical, and she finished her shopping and went where she was going. I got excellent, excellent, excellent feedback. So
I
that
love
was the
it.
first time I went, hmm. But that will be a strange thing to people. I didn't get any negative feedback, but I stopped that day.
Mm.
I absolutely stopped that day. And people have asked me for years why. I said, I have no idea why. Until I
Mm.
got to Virginia and Jesus was like, well, it's time. I'm like, time for what? Poetry. And oh, okay. So then I got seriously into poetry at that time. If I had
Wow.
to guess, and I am guessing, I would think it was delayed because timing is everything.
So true. So true. Well, how long was it in between you doing that open mic and coming to Virginia and again that light bulb going off, you hearing that voice?
It was several years. I just don't remember how many.
Wow. Okay. But you definitely know it was years.
Oh, yes.
Wow. Okay. Okay. That's wow. So you did it. You felt great about it. Got good feedback. You had a little hype corner. You had a little hype woman corner. And
Yeah,
you're like, all right, well, I did it.
right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Until one day it just hit you again like a ton of bricks.
Hmm.
And then since then, you haven't turned back.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that. I feel like, there are a lot of people who struggle to identify what their purpose is, what their calling is, what that still small voice is, you know. And I even speaking personally, um, you hear the voice, but you're like, oh, but is it me? Because I'm an
Right.
overthinker, right? I'm an overthinker. So
As am
there's
I.
always a voice,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
So you have people that struggle with identifying their purpose and hearing that voice and following through with what that voice is telling them. What practices or mindsets would or helped you really to uncover what your calling was at that time when it came back to you while you were in Virginia?
I think it's, and I'm an overthinker as well, so I totally identify with that. And for those of you who have, well, I have this person in my head, I have this person in my head, and I forgot one of my haiku, but it basically says, you don't give people rent payments, you give them mortgage payments.
Ooh,
So we have to weed out. We're the gardener of our own minds.
I love it. I
We have
love
got
it.
to start weeding out.
Mhm.
Mama said I wouldn't be nothing. Weed out.
Mhm.
You just like your father. Weed out. Because that's
Mhm.
not said in loving. There's a you just like your father, and you're just like your father. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know.
Uh-huh.
Weed
Uh-huh.
out the bad one.
Yes, there's a difference.
There's a
And
difference.
delivery is everything.
Thank you, that part. Oh, your sister's the dream child. Weed that out. So as you start weeding out, you get stuck with you eventually. Now, you may have planted some bad seeds too. So that's where you have a whole nother issue to deal with. Okay, I'm starting to weed out the other seeds, but what about the ones I planted?
Mm.
As I tell people, if you can tell me what's wrong with you, you can tell me what's right with you.
Ooh, yes. Yes.
You are not just the sum of your mistakes.
Absolutely. We
You
we have Susanna in here, Susanna Douglas saying, "Yes." Mm, mm,
you are
mm,
not. You will believe what you find. So
mm.
I tell people, get a journal, whatever works for you, and start writing the great things about you. Because when trouble hits, or when anger hits, or if you don't, believe in, heaven, hell, devil, whatever, when that negativity hits, you need to be able to counterbalance that. And that is not the time for you to just, I can think of something good about myself. I can think about myself. No, you have to have that ready to counter that.
Mhm.
So that
Mm.
that way, when you start doing that, your calling can start appearing because you're not living in despair as long as you used to.
Mhm.
You're cutting your despair time down because I ain't nothing, ain't right. I ain't no, oh wait, where's my journal?
Mhm.
Oh wait. Yeah, I guess I am smart. Okay, I am intuitive. Yeah, I do. I am so you can counter it instead of 2 days later going, oh, I'm just I don't know. So
Wow.
we have to start.
Wow.
I'm not gonna make it impossible for it to happen, but
Yeah.
you have the counter for the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, cut down that time that you spend in that space, in that mind
Yes.
space. I love it. Oh wow, Susanna says she's listening from Trinidad and Tobago. Hey
Woo!
girl, hey girl. And who we have here? We have Eva Lockhart saying she agrees with what you're saying. Yeah, she's picking up what you putting down.
Yes.
That actually leads what you just said. That actually leads to my next question for you, which was how did you overcome those fears and doubts when it came to stepping in your calling? And that sounds like that was a very important and heavy machinery type of tool for you. Was there anything else that you used as your go-to when you were having that fear, having those doubts?
It's it's the saying of, because I had a friend who once said to me, "Why should I become," and fill in the blank. So whatever it is you want to become, fill in the blank, right? There's already so many.
Mm.
So if you
Mm.
want to become a speaker, poet, singer, architecture, blah, blah, whatever it is, fill in the blank. There's already so many. So I said, okay,
Mm.
let's go to the supermarket and let's take this supermarket and we're going to close it down and make it an eighth of the size it is. What? How am I going to be able to find anything? Oh, so you want variety. So you don't want one loaf of bread made by one company. You don't want one soda, one flavor made by one company. You don't want one steak or one beef made by one company, the same cut. You don't want what? But somehow we make it for us. There's so many people out there doing it. But you go see so and so sing or so and so act. Are they the first person? Are they the original? Are they the only ones? And then
I love that
if they do
analogy.
too many movies, you'll be like, well, they in everything. I need to see somebody else. Really?
I love that analogy. I'm gonna steal that, FYI. Do you go to the grocery store and be like, well, that's the yeah. Why is there a whole aisle full of bread?
Right.
Hawaiian rolls, wheat bread. Why is it a whole aisle? Why is there a whole case full of different ice creams? It's all chocolate chip, it's all vanilla, but you
Thank
got
you.
Briars, Friendlies, Turkey Hill. That is
Smooth.
such a great analogy. And we have Andrea Lott chiming in from California saying powerful. I
Oh,
love that. I'm gonna use that, girl. I ain't playing. You think I'm playing? I'm gonna use that. So tell us what the turning point was for you. When your gifts really started to like rise and take form. Do you remember what that was? There a specific moment where you were like, boom, we are
yeah.
here?
It was another time when I was, arguing because I'm an arguer. You could be a
No.
host. No, no, I don't host. This was years ago. A friend of mine was doing an open mic. She said, could you come host? I'm like, I don't host. And guy's like, sure you can. I'm like, no. And he's like, sure. So finally I said, okay. So I went and hosted, and it turned out to be a really great experience. And what I learned from that experience was to be open, be freestyling, because when you're hosting, you kind of have to play off the crowd. You have to keep the crowd in. You have to mention something that the previous person did. So that opened my mind. And because before that, if it was not on that piece of paper to read in the poem, I was never going to say it.
Mm.
It was going to be read exactly as written every single time. Every
Mm.
time. And this allowed me to exhale and go, you know what, Kim? One, it doesn't have to be perfect. Two, you can just make it up on the spot. Three, you can freestyle. You can just let it, you can just exhale. You can just let go. It's not about perfection. It's about you touching someone. Stop. I never asked you for perfection. I asked you to go and touch someone and give them the ability to touch someone and to heal themselves, not to be up there and trying to be perfect. It's not about perfection.
Ah. Mm, mm, mm. Where do we, not where, why do we trip ourselves up with that word, with perfection? Why do we do that?
I
It
tell
comes from somewhere, right?
it's a mind game.
Mm.
Like I tell people, fear is self-inflicted.
Mm. Mhm.
We make it up. Now, some of us don't. Some of us is planted from a childhood or from an ex or situation, siblings, etc. But a lot of it we plant,
Mm. Mm.
and we get so stuck on something that doesn't exist. I will never forget. I was teaching poetry to a group of high schoolers, and they were giving so much emphasis. Second is, I think the phrase was, second was first failure, or blah blah blah. And if you're not perfect, you haven't done it. Now,
Mm.
I am not a sports head, but I knew enough about sports to tell
Pick
the
up on that.
yeah, to talk to the young man. So I'm like, you don't want to argue with a poet, but I'm give you the opportunity. He's like, okay. I like, okay. So now I do not think this, but I had to get his attention.
Okay.
So I said, oh, well, based on your description, second place is first failure, and if you're not perfect, you're nothing. Then King James is a complete failure.
Ooh. Ooh.
Now his face is contorting and he's looking at me and I'm like, he's looking.
Yes, yes, yes.
He's like, "What you talking about? You don't talk about King James like that. He ain't no failure." I said, "I just used the criteria that you use.
Mm-hmm.
He has
Mm-hmm.
not always won every championship he's
Mm-hmm.
been in. He has not made every shot. I actually looked up the amount of shots he did not make recently. I think it's like 12,000, and that's nothing, by the way. The man is a genius. I'm not saying any of that. Of course, he's a superb player. That's not the point. The point is he's missed over 10,000 shots, and that's over his entire career, which is very reasonable.
Oh,
Again, that's
right,
the point.
right. With the
The
years
point,
he's put in, and yeah. Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
Of course, you're gonna miss because you're trying at optimum times and unoptimal times. You're being double blocked, triple blocked, etc. I said based on your criteria, he is not perfection, so he shouldn't be called King James. So he looked at me and
Mm,
argued a little bit more. I said, it seems like you're willing to give him more grace than you're willing to give yourself.
mm. And do you know him personally or not? Because
Right,
how you giving somebody you ain't even met, don't know,
exactly.
more grace than you go give yourself?
Exactly.
Wow. And that, I believe, is also, like you said, fear based.
Yes.
I can't, so I won't. Oh yeah, I messed up this one time, so all is lost. Oh, I didn't make it this time, so no need going back and trying again. It's just gonna turn out the same way.
And everyone they admire, or everyone they think great of, or everyone they look at and give kudos for has failed. But they don't look at it as failure, even though the person does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's very true. And I feel like that sports analogy was perfect, right? Because and that's just one of many, right? They
Right.
talk about Jordan and how he was a horrible player in high school, and blah 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 blah. Now people are fighting for for shoes that got his name on it that he don't even wear.
Exactly.
Like,
That part.
make it make sense,
Mhm.
man. I feel like that particular conversation that you just recanted was, I'm sorry, not recanted, but just recalled. Sorry,
Mhm.
um, is very powerful on its own. But the fact that it was with, and I'm going to venture to say, a child, a teenager,
Mhm.
because they still have that time to not be set in their ways, set in their this is what it is. You can't change my mind. Blah blah blah. They haven't gotten to that level, that age, that stage yet. So the fact that it's powerful alone, but that you had it with a child, basically, that is something that resonates and will walk with him
Right.
for a long time, for a very long time. And it wouldn't be surprising to me if you find out later on in life that he has used that same analogy with peers, friends, grows up, uses it with his kids, that sort of thing. I think that's awesome. I really think that's awesome.
Thank you.
Um, Based on your thoughts, your view, what you see, what's the difference between having a gift and living in your calling?
So, having a gift can be one of the things I don't want to say you have, but you haven't used. You can
Mm.
have a
Hmm.
gift and have never used it. You can have a gift and partially used it. Some of us, as I call it, lean on the one gift and forget there's a potential for several gifts. We find out we can sing, so we keep singing, but who said that was it?
Mm.
We
Okay.
find out we could be a spoken word poet. We just do poetry. Who said that was it? But
Hmm.
I'm getting booked for that. I didn't say you shouldn't get booked for it. I said, what are your other gifts?
Mm.
So your gifts and stuff are what your talents are. Your calling is part of your gift because you can't do one without the other.
Hmm.
Gift is maybe your ability to sing. Your calling is who you're supposed to be singing to.
Mm. Mm. Say that again. Say that again.
Your gift is what you have. Your
Hmm.
calling is who you're supposed to be doing it to or
Mm.
for, who you're supposed to be touching.
Mm. With that gift or
Exactly.
those gifts.
Exactly.
Mm. Yeah, there's people who think that their gift is their talent, and that may not be the case.
Right.
You may be a talented singer,
Right.
actor, whatever the thing is, but that's not your gift. Maybe
Right.
you're singing, yeah, you ooh, that voice goes on for days.
Yes.
But to your point, with the calling side of it, it's not um, what is supposed to be touching people.
Right.
I'm not saying it won't or
Right.
can't, but whereas if you find, and I think that's where the talent and the gift, those two words get kind of, they're used interchangeably almost,
Yes.
but shouldn't be. They're two separate components, in my
Right.
opinion. They're two separate
Yes,
components.
I agree.
Doesn't mean they can't coexist. They can,
Correct.
but to your point, when you add the calling to it, that's what really separates the two.
Right. Because I'm not saying you shouldn't make money because I know people hear, oh, she said, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if you got a call to, let's say, I don't know, a school and they weren't able to pay you. Now do check because I know sometimes schools can be funny with that. They can't pay you, but they can pay, ridiculous things. But let's say it was for a cause you agree with. That's when your calling should
Mm-hmm.
jump in and you should say, this is a great opportunity for me to use my gift to touch out to these students
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
hear something they would never be able to afford otherwise. This is an opportunity for me to use my gift and my calling.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot. And that, again, great illustration. I'm going to tell you, I don't know how many people listening are like this, but I'm a very visual person. So when someone is telling me a story about something that happened, or they're,
Right.
I see the pictures of it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So as you were telling the story about the student you were speaking to, I saw you standing in the hallway having a conversation with him. I saw his book bag on him. Like, I'm a very visual person.
Right.
So the way that you just described that gave me a very clear, distinct, colorful, vivid picture. And it makes perfect sense. And I say that on purpose to say, how do you break that down to somebody who's not, a visual person like myself? You can say that, and the words can make sense, right? We speak the same language, it can make
Right.
sense, but I don't get it. How do you break that down to someone so they get it?
What makes your heart beat? And they'll say, "Oh, you mean blah blah blah." The blood that went. Okay, that's that's literal. What do you love? If I put you in a room right now and I say I will buy 1,000 of such and such, what would that be for you?
Hmm.
Or I could get so and so to mentor you on such and such, what would that be to you?
Hmm.
So that way they can start thinking outside of the school because I'm talking about from children to adults.
Yeah.
Um, which one of those things comes to your mind? Don't second guess it. Tell me the first five things that come to your mind.
Hmm.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know. No, you're trying to block it. You're trying to block it. Just it doesn't have to be right. I don't care how likely it is. I've been many years ago. I was a substitute, and a kid told me he wanted to be an astronaut. I said, "Fantastic. Have you checked to see if NASA has any summer intern or little summer astronaut classes? What have you done to be an astronaut? What have you done to look it up?"
Hmm.
It's like, oh.
Wait, I got to do stuff.
He was like, he was willing to do it, but he never had anyone, I guess, challenge him to not do it.
Yes.
You can't
Yes.
be no astronaut. What are you talking about? What
Hmm.
have you done? Look it up. Sit with your parents. Look up because I believe at that time NASA had camps at the time,
Okay.
little kid
Like
camp.
youth programs and whatnot.
Yes.
Hmm.
I say and that's how you can get started, or maybe you can reach out to a real astronaut. Maybe they'll have what do you call those days when you're shadowing them, where you can
Hmm.
get an experience of
A
some.
day in the life of, or something like
Yes,
that. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So I ask people in your quiet place, turn off the music, turn off the noise, turn off everything. Listen and just write down the first five things that come to you. Not money based, not talent based, just what speaks to your heart.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, don't tell me about your education. Don't tell me about just, I'm not cute enough. I'm not small enough. I don't have enough. I didn't ask you that. I asked you to pick the five things that speaks to your heart.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now that you have those five things, if you feel like adding five more, do that.
Mhm.
Once you start making this list, you'll be able to figure out what your gifts and calling will lead you to. But first, you got to get out of the noise. You got to get out of social media. You got to get out of comparing yourself. You got to find something that is unique to you, because the people who have stood out, some of them anyway, have found their own unique way to do what people thought was going to be crazy. And now everybody's like, oh wow, that's unique. That's, what's the word now? Some is vintage, or everything's a slick word for something that used to be done already.
That's a trigger word for me. Me and my son have that vintage word is a trigger word.
Exactly.
Everything's vintage.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah,
But you're right. And we could take it back. The Wright brothers, these fools out here trying to make a daggone air. What they trying to make a flying machine?
exactly.
These idiots, they're gonna kill themselves.
Right,
Now look at us.
right.
Now look at us. You
Hmm.
know, and so many other, like you said, just so many other things. You hear different celebrities talk about, yeah, I had a teacher, or I had a person, or whatever in my life that was like, well, I mean, that's great, but you from the hood, you're not going to be able to be on TV. You're not going to be able to play basketball. You're not going to be able to X, Y, Z. But why not?
Right,
But why not? And to your point, like you said, okay, what are those five things? It might not be five things. Maybe it's just three. And
right.
that's okay too. But what are
Absolutely.
they?
Right.
But what are they? And
No
listen,
one,
if it's
no,
just one, then
yes,
you better start honing in because there's a reason for that too.
exactly. If one kept coming up, like you said, I mean, if one keeps, okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Somebody try. What's that from Color Purple? God trying to tell you something. That is amazing. I want to take a quick commercial break. If you'll stick with me, Miss Kim,
all
and come back and finish this conversation because I am very much enjoying it, and I think our audience is too. Um, we are going to take a quick 1 minute break. You guys, stick with us. We'll be right back. I'm Amanda Lockhart Davis, founder of Jax Consulting Services, bringing over 25 years of industry experience to our multifaceted consulting firm. With a passion for strategic problem solving and unmatched customer service, we have crafted the firm to offer a wide range of consulting services. From financial management and strategic planning to educational workshops and specialized notarization services. Jax Consulting Services is dedicated to supporting the diverse needs of our clients. Leveraging extensive experience across various sectors, we stand ready to guide your business toward success. That's Jax Consulting Services. Visit us on the web at www.jax-consulting.com. And we are back with Miss Kim B. Miller. And when I tell you she dropping some gems, honey, she is dropping some gems, honey. Okay. I want to not necessarily pivot, but kind of go into um, how we take our gifts, our talents, our calling, and balance them with our personal lives, our career, passion projects. Like, how do we do all of that but still walk in our calling?
so your priorities are your priorities. Now, what I mean by that is you will prioritize what means the most to you. If your calling or your talents or what you're trying to really get started means something to you, you'll make time for it. They say your gifts will make room for you, but they won't make room for you if you don't make time for them.
Mm,
You
mm,
can't put your gifts on the back burner, but when the job call, there you are, Jane or Johnny on the spot. You always the one. You always the go-to. When I say, "Oh, how's that book coming?" Oh, I really don't have time. No, you're deciding not to make time. And I'm not saying that life don't be life, and so don't come for me. I get that. But what I am saying is you will make a priority what is a priority. So
mm-hmm,
until you decide it's a priority, it will never be a priority.
mm-hmm. Your
It will.
gift will make room for you. Proverbs 18. Your gifts will make room for you. I That's one of my favorite verses.
Mm-hmm.
I have three like favorite or what I like to call my life verses, and that's one of
Yes.
it's literally pasted on my wall. Your gifts will make room for you. I I like how you say that. The priorities, prioritizing makes a difference. Does that mean, like you said, that sometimes you got to put some stuff on the back burner for a hot minute while you take care of life real fast? Yeah, it might happen. Like you said earlier, when we first started, it ain't always going to be easy.
No.
So does that mean you might have to uh, pivot, take a pause, whatever that is for life? Because life be life, and like you said, yeah, absolutely. But then what?
Right.
Once the rain is gone, then what? Do you pick it back up? Or
Absolutely.
do you stay in a place of, well, I can't get back to it now. I mean, I lost the motivation, I lost the momentum. Or
Right.
do you get back at it? Do you find a way to get back? Because we all do that, right?
Right.
Like I'm a walker. I love, 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 love to walk. My mama don't do heat. Okay. Okay. So when it's 90 degrees outside, I catch you when we get a little bit temperatures lessen, right? But it's easy to fall out of that habit.
Absolutely.
What do you do to get back into it once the weather clears up a little bit and it gets a little bit more comfortable for you? What do you do? Yeah.
Yes, making those decisions because if you're a calendar person and which I am, everything goes on my calendar to make sure I don't double book and all that good stuff. So, okay, we're like, so you have to, if you can put work on a calendar and you can put things for other people on a calendar, you can put you on a calendar. You can put your calling on a calendar. You can get mentoring on a calendar. You can make time for stuff that is important to you, or you
Mm-hmm.
can make excuses.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Ooh. Whose toes you just step on? Whose toes you just step on? Or you can make excuses. Which one? And she said it with her whole chest.
Yo, did.
So let's talk about mentorship a little bit. What role did mentorship or even community or your faith, what role did any of those or all of those play in helping you to embrace your gifts and start that walk?
I think starting it was pretty much a single road, and I was happy with that
Okay.
because I'm one of the few people, well, not one of the few people, because I know a lot of people have not heard of, were not in their early years big on poetry or poetry lovers who are follow poets. Because when I was young, I did not. I didn't know anything about poetry. I didn't know anything about poets. So the joy in that, though, is that I just thought God was a poet because of certain verses in the Bible. But the joy of that and why I advise that when I mentor poets is because it allows you to breathe in and embrace your own voice.
Hmm.
When you're first starting anything, in my opinion, where there's a lot of people doing it, my suggestion is for you to find your voice, find your footing, find who you want to be in that particular genre. Then once you've decided it and you're comfortable in who you are, then you can venture out and find out who's done it before, what was different styles, da 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 da. Maybe find a mentor if you feel like you need one, etc. It becomes very problematic, in my opinion, when you pick one too early because what happens is we are human beings who automatically adjust to who we are near. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, if you're a singer and the only thing you grew up with was Aretha Franklin, you'd have to be someone out of another universe not to want to mimic her or her sound similar because that's the only singer you heard.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
if
your
you
only reference point.
exactly.
Mm.
Whereas if you didn't go, well, let me see who else was out with Aretha, or let me see if you picked your own style and said, well, I may not sound like anybody else, but this is who I am. Then go out and say, well, who's the queen of soul? I would love to find some information on who's Barbara Streisand, all these other great singers, right? Then you can take that time to, deep dive into music industries, or if you're going to go the formal route or different genres and say, well, I think I want this sort of sound or this sort of sound, because everybody was unacceptable until they were acceptable.
Mm. Mm-hmm. 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 You, all right, don't laugh at me. But if you
Okay.
do, it's okay. I got thick skin. I, and my audience knows this, I am an avid Golden Girls fanatic. Like,
Oh,
Like right there behind, I don't know if you can see it. Right behind me is an autographed copy by all four of them. There's
what?
the pilot script, right?
Wow.
I love me some Golden Girls. And you just saying that right now reminded me of a speech. There was an accepted speech that Rue McClanahan, who played Blanche, for those who don't know,
Yes.
um, she gave an acceptance. I believe it was an Emmy Award. And she said, I had, I want to say it was a talent agent, or it was something, who said to her, I, you're not marketable. I can't market you. You're not photogenic. You're not gonna look good in front of a camera. Who?
Oh,
Who? And she said she went home and she told her, or she called up her mom, and she's like, "Mom, I can't, I ain't gonna make it because they told me such and such and such. And this guy, he's been doing it for years, so he would know." And her mother said, heifer. All right, she didn't say that,
right,
but basically,
right.
she was like, every kick is a boost, meaning every time somebody kicks you, that's a push in the direction you need to be going. And now look at you. You win an awards. You are a household name. You are long gone. And
Yeah.
people are still quoting things that you have said. And that's it right there. Like you saying that, just literally, that's the first thing that came to my mind, you
Hmm.
know? And I think that's so powerful and so very true for so many people. Um, Again, going back to what you said earlier about weeding out, I like to say, a couple times a year, I like to weed my social garden, right? Because I don't need all that extra. Yeah,
Exactly.
I got my own extra. I don't need your extra,
Thank
right?
you. Hmm.
And it's weeding out that negativity, like you said earlier. Like you said earlier. Um, so for people who feel stuck or unsure, what would you recommend? Somebody that you walks up to you after a performance and says, what's a step I can take today to start moving towards my calling? What would you tell them?
I would say don't ignore fear. And I've taught this to people before. For some reason, we like pretend fear is not there. And I tell people to embrace fear, love, and hope. You call love and hope out immediately. You don't pretend that love and hope are not there. So you give fear unnecessary power that it should not have.
Hmm. By trying to pretend like it doesn't exist.
Exactly. So I
Hmm.
say give fear a name. I've said this plenty of times. Give your fear a name. I've given my fear the name Miranda because she has the right to remain silent.
Yes, girl. Yes, 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 yes.
So you just say, "Hey, Miranda, got a speech today. Get your pretty dress on, girl. Love and hope you always there." So you just making it real. It's not
Hmm.
fear is not fake. It's in here. We created it,
Hmm.
but I'm not fearful. It's okay if you're fearful. It's
Yeah,
doing it with your fear and
yeah.
practicing how to do it with your fear. And I
Hmm.
tell people I don't practice for perfection. Even when I go out and mentoring kids and I'm teaching artists for different schools and stuff, I never teach perfection. I
Hmm.
teach errors. And people are like, "You can't teach us that." What do you mean you teach for errors? Because what happens if they make a mistake? If they haven't practiced that, they freeze.
Yeah, yeah. Right. You fumble, you do what?
Right.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So you're memorizing this because most of the things we do in the schools is memorization. If you forget, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm not going to
Mhm.
forget. That's beautiful. What are you going to do?
No, no, no. I got this.
I have been doing this for years and I still forget. So you're going to be a human. So here's a technique that may work. Use a popular song that goes with the theme of what you're doing because the audience will repeat after you if you pick the right song. So if I'm doing a song about, a poem about love, I may pick a song about love that'll get the crowd interacting with me. And then I'm hoping by then my mind kicks in. If
Oh,
not, luckily I'm impromptu or a freestyle poet, so I can still keep going. But everybody
mhm.
is not that way. So
Right.
practice with errors and they'll
Yeah.
start talking. I'll interrupt them. I'm like, because the audience could do that because they like that line a lot. And I need for you to, when they do that, to pause for a second and not just keep going. So it's
Mm.
practicing for the errors, understanding you are going to fail. Failure is part of success, and that you would give anybody else grace and become their cheerleader if they were going to try something. So use those same cheerleading skills on you. Use that same grace on you.
Mm-hmm.
Try it.
Mm-hmm.
Try it. You're going to fail. Stop going with the, I don't want to fail. That's not realistic.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
Mm-hmm.
realistic. Go in knowing I'm going to fail, but I'm also going to succeed.
Yeah. Yeah. And we all know that bravery exists because fear exists. Being brave is not, oh, I'm doing this because I'm not scared. No.
Right.
And then that's the case, and everybody would do it, whatever
Right.
that thing is. Bravery is doing it even though you're scared,
Right.
even though the fear is there.
It's
And you can
telling you
feel it in your stomach and you feel it in your chest.
absolutely
Bravery is pushing through it anyway and getting on the other side of it.
right. It doesn't have to be pretty. The first couple of times it may be ugly, and that's fine.
Hmm.
The more you do it, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
Think about the greats. There's nobody
Yeah.
who you consider great who doesn't practice, if not every day, quite often.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I I've been for a very long time been practicing what I call living without regrets. The audience knows my story about two very big regrets I have and how I decided, that's dumb. Living with regrets is ghetto. I don't I don't want to do that anymore. And what does that mean? Pushing through the fear, because my what it was for me, I'm sure I share this with many people out there, is, oh, but what if people don't like it, or what if, and but people probably don't want to, or nobody's gonna like, or all this stuff. And then one day it very literally hit me like a ton of bricks. All right, then, but at least you can say, well, I tried it, ain't nobody like it, as opposed to, man, I wonder what would have happened if.
Right.
Pushing through that fear takes you a very long way. Again, how many famous people have we heard say, yeah, I got fired from that job? Oh, yeah,
Right.
ooh, or I got it. But they sitting on Oprah stage, or they out here singing the national anthem at the, at the freaking football games and stuff like that. Like, how many of them can say, woo, child, I was not a good ice cream scooper at that Baskin Robbins? You
Right.
know what I mean? They got fired. They tried something, they got fired, but they kept getting back up and they kept trying. And here they are.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's great. So, how do you
And just because
continue
you
then?
didn't get it
Oh,
does not mean it wasn't, that particular thing may not have been for you.
yeah. That one wasn't the hit.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And that's another thing, right? Not how do you, but that is how trial and error is a lot
Yes.
of using your gifts and walking in your calling, I would say.
Yes.
Trial and error.
Yes.
Because again, people like you and I who, overthink, and you don't know who's talking. Is it you? Or
Right.
sometimes you do got to try something and be like, all right, well, it was me. I
Right.
wasn't supposed to be doing
Right.
that. Or whatever. So I think that's part of it too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to know, how do you continue that growth? How do you continue to refine your gifts, to stay aligned with your calling, to stay aligned with your purpose, to keep reaching out and touching those you're supposed to touch?
One is when I'm looking at events and things of that nature, I'm trying to fill out, is this a good, not a good spot for me? It's never, do you think they'll like me? Like is out. I'm there to deliver a message. Is this where I'm supposed to deliver my message?
Is this the where?
This is the where.
Mm-hmm.
So now some of us get like, well, will they like me? Blah, blah, blah. Da, 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 da. Stop trying to read the audience, because you cannot read people. People respond differently. The person you think, oh, I'm boring them to death. They meet a person who, how did she know? How did he know? Oh my goodness, how did they know? Am I that apparent? People respond differently. So stop trying to judge the audience's response to your effectiveness.
Mm-hmm.
That Those are not equal standards. You'll never be able to equate those two. Be
Mm-hmm.
more concerned with, I came here to say whatever the subject matter was. Did I do what I was supposed to do in the
Mm,
way I was supposed to do it?
mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And people be peopling. You can have an audience tonight and they respond one way, and you can have the exact same audience tomorrow
Yes.
night and they respond a different way because of whatever happened in their life within that 24-hour period.
Yes.
Um, that is very huge. And we have Andre, we have, and yeah, we have Andrea a lot here chiming in and saying, and age is not a disqualifier either.
No, we have to stop with this. Even, younger to young at heart. There is no age limit on success.
Yeah, yeah.
We put age limits on success, but
Mm-hmm,
we internally do not have an age limit to success. So
mm-hmm,
I don't care what age you are, it is never too late to get started in your calling. Get out there and do what you're feeling. Go ahead, do whatever it is, because there's lots of callings can go in many different ways. Get started today.
mm-hmm. And understand that it might take longer than the person next to you running a similar race.
Right.
And that's okay too, because it's your race is your race. Their race is their race. So just because, me and Johnny started our acting career the same day doesn't mean that we're going to take off at the same time or that we're going to get that big break at the same time or in the same way. We're running our own races for whatever reason, whatever purpose God has for us. And that's okay too.
Absolutely.
And that goes back to what you said earlier about we get in our own heads, we get to comparing ourselves to others, and we can't compare our journeys to someone else's journey. Uh,
Everybody wants to compare success, but no one wants to compare failures.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, listen, you can Google it. You can see how many people who have literally changed the face of the world, literally, how old they were, how long it took, right? It could
Right.
very literally. What did they say? I think they said, was it I think I read somewhere. I want to say it was Henry Ford. Like he was in his 50s.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and so on and so on and so on. Like it doesn't happen for everybody in your 20s.
Right.
And that's okay.
Exactly.
You know, Morgan Freeman didn't hit big until he was well past his 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's a voice that you act like you don't know that voice when you hear
It's very distinctive.
it. That is, oh gosh, I just wish everyone could hear that and that it would resonate and that they would understand, because it's so many people out there who are hindering themselves, that they're blocking themselves because they are worried about what's going on over here in this lane,
Yes.
listening to people who are projecting their own fears. That's another thing. People will project
Yes.
their own. Oh, I don't think you should do that. Oh,
Yes.
girl, I don't know if you should go out there and try that. Cause remember what happened to Jimmy down the street?
Exactly.
Projecting their own fears on you. There's, gosh, we can talk about this for hours and hours, Kim. Like very
Yes.
literally, very literally.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
I,
just because they love you doesn't mean what they're telling you is the truth.
right, right, and it's okay to hear
Right.
what people have to say that you care about and you respect and you trust.
Right.
That doesn't mean you have to listen,
Right. That doesn't mean they're right.
and it doesn't mean that they're right. And it doesn't mean that they're right now,
Right.
because again, like you said before, timing.
Right.
So there's just so many different facets to this, and this episode is called "Using Your Gifts," not using their gifts.
Right. Not
Walking in
comparing.
your calling, not
Yes.
walking in him and them's
Right.
calling. Right? I, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Um, gosh, I could talk to you forever. Um, looking ahead, looking ahead, Kim. What legacy do you hope to leave by using your gifts and living in your calling?
The legacy I leave as far as me is really irrelevant. And I say that to say that I'm here for a purpose. I believe my purpose is to touch people with words. Sometimes it's I have a line in a poem that says, cut open people's closed mindedness.
Mm,
And Sometimes it's to inform, and I have another line from a different poem. Um, Basically says that poems have ingredients that people didn't even realize they needed.
Mm.
And my job or my legacy here is to get someone to open up their mind to possibilities, things they could do in life that I was absolutely right. Maybe not. Maybe not. I didn't think about it that way. So my job is to put the question and the possibilities and to open people's minds to give themselves as much credit and as much grace and as much loving as they're willing to give a stranger sometimes, or a family member or a child, to understand that their words have so much power and depth and in depth in what they say, and they cannot just erase stuff with "I'm sorry." "I'm sorry" is not an eraser for pain, and you don't get to determine how someone gets mad by how you inflicted pain on them. We
Mm-hmm.
got to get out of this non-blame society, the everything is somebody else's fault, there's no ownership, there's panicking, or I call it the sidestep on everything. It wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
I may have started it. You overheard me. You know, the gaslighting has gotten to a point now that you walk in a room, you smell gas. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Like, we have got to get our discernment back on point. So
Yeah.
my legacy, hopefully, is Kim said something that touched me. Kim said something, and if it did, believe me, it did not come from me, because I believe all my words came from God in Jesus' mighty name. And for those of you who
Yes.
say, well, I'm not a Christian, I get it. I'm not a bad mouthing you. I'm just saying that's where it came from me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe.
Yes, indeed. Yes. I love that. And you're right. Accountability is scarce these days.
Yes,
It's always, well, I did it because you,
right.
or whatever the
You
thing
hadn't
is.
done such and such, I wouldn't have to do such and such.
And round and round and round we go. It just, yes, I agree. I agree, and I love that. Kim said something that touched me or impacted me in such a way it stays with me and has stayed with me. I love that as a legacy for you. And I hope our listeners have heard something, even if it was just one thing today that you've said that has done exactly that, that will leave a lasting impression. Uh, I have put out into the atmosphere several times, and I'm going to say it again. Um, Write that book, start that podcast, ask that girl out, go on that vacation. Fear is what you allow it to be, and what you do with it is your own prerogative, and it can't be blamed on anybody or anything else. And there's a phrasing that's, in my opinion, has become less potent lately, and that is trauma response. Though I believe trauma response is very real, I think people are overusing it and not always using it in the correct context, right? It can't be applied to everything, every
Right.
time, all the time. So don't use that trauma response, as real as it may be, to hold you back from walking in your calling, using
Yes.
your gifts,
Yes.
touching someone in a very purposeful way that resonates with them, and you know brightens their life, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just for that day or that moment. You have no idea what it might do.
Yes.
And I think this conversation sheds a lot of light on that. I really do. I really do. I want to know, if you can tell us how our audience can stay in contact with you, know what you got going on, what events you got coming up, engagements, all the stuff.
Well, the easiest place is to go to my website, which is www.kim, the letter B, Miller.com. KimBMiller.com.
Okay. I'm going to, for those who are watching and not listening, I'm going to put a little bit of information across the screen here so you can see it. We've got Kim's website, we have her LinkedIn and YouTube handles, as well as her Facebook and Instagram handles as well. All right. Say the website again for us, Kim.
KimBMiller.com.
KimBMiller.com. All right. You guys tune in. Make sure that you stay up to date with what she's got going on, where she's going to be. Hey, we may get another TEDx out of her. Well, listen, and
Hey,
I'd be here for it. I'd be here for it, believe me. All right, Miss Kim, I like to end the show with our guests by asking them to share one of two things, or if you're feeling, froggy, you can share two. Um, Tell our audience either your greatest joy or your favorite quote and why it's your favorite quote.
okay.
Or you
Well,
can do both, like I said.
okay. So I will share two haiku that I wrote. That one is my most requested, and one is the one I feel is very effective for people to hear.
I love
So,
it.
haiku are 17 syllable poems. These are non traditional Japanese poetry. So, it's not traditional on nature ones, just for the ones who know what haiku are. So, these are non traditional. Haiku. You are not a walking mistake. You're an undiscovered miracle.
Yes, 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 yes.
That's just one of my favorite haiku. And this is my most requested haiku. Haiku. They thought they broke you, but you are a glow stick. They just exposed your light.
Yes, 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 yes. Uh, Nobody listen to this. I'm talking to Kim right now. I need that on a T-shirt. I need.
I think I may have that. I actually have an online store that has a lot of that stuff.
See what I'm saying? Check out her website, y'all. Check out her website. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much, Miss Kim B. Miller, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a true pleasure. You are now a Life Uncensored family member, and I would love to have you back anytime, whatever you'd like to talk about. All right.
All right.
Y'all remember this face and you remember that name because trust me, it's going to come up a lot. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Kim.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you to stay on with me just another moment while I close out the show. That was Miss Kim B. Miller. An amazing, amazing conversation. I'm so glad to have had her on the show today. I am so glad that we had the talk that we had. And I'm glad that it was on her heart to hit the topic using your gifts, walking in your calling. I want to make sure that you all remember to like, follow, share, subscribe, Life Uncensored. All right, navigating adulthood one episode at a time. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell Joe Schmo on the street. All right, make sure that they know that they need to be tuning in or they're going to be missing out. Also, if you have a topic idea, a show idea, please, 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 we'd love to hear from you. Okay, reach out to us. Go to our website. It's right there below. life-uncensored.com. Life-uncensored.com. Go to our website. Say, hey, man, I got a great idea for a show. I got a great idea for a topic that I like to hear. All right. Make sure you reach out to us. And likewise, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, same thing. Go to that website, life-uncensored.com. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to talk to you. All right. I'm going to end the show with two quotes today. I came across two quotes that I said I can't choose. So I'm going to share two quotes today, and I think they're very appropriate for today's show and topic. The first one is from well-known artist Pablo Picasso. And the quote is, "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away." And I think Miss Kim hit the nail on the head with that one. And then the second quote is from a couple of you may have heard from her, and maybe not, I'm not sure. Miss Oprah Winfrey. And the quote is, "There is no greater gift you can give or receive than to honor your calling. It's why you were born and how you become most truly alive. I hope those quotes resonate with you. I hope this conversation resonates with you as well. Until next time, stay hydrated and be kind. Do something really kind for someone. You don't know. You might change the world. Until next time, everyone, good night. Life Uncensored, navigating adulthood one episode at a time. We're available on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You can also check us out on our website, life-uncensored.com. Come on over and see what you've been missing.